All right, today we're going to talk about a really powerful psychological idea that could totally change how you think about motivation. It's called the Locus Rule. And honestly, understanding it might just be the key to unlocking your own potential.
You know those days, right, where you just can't seem to get going? But what if that feeling wasn't random? What if motivation wasn't just something you either have or you don't, but something you could actually build and control? Well, that's the big idea we're diving into.
So, our story here actually starts with this really fascinating study from back in 1998 at Columbia University. It's got kids, some tough puzzles, and a result that just completely baffled the researchers. And it revealed something really fundamental about what makes us tick. Okay, so here's how it went down. A professor, Claudia Muller, gave a bunch of fifth graders some pretty challenging puzzles. No matter how they did, they were all told they did a great job. But, and this is the important part, there was a twist. Group A was told they succeeded because they were just really smart and gifted. Group B, they were told they succeeded because they worked really hard. Seems like a tiny, tiny difference in words, right? Well, the consequences were huge.
Now, you'd think being called smart would be like rocket fuel for your motivation, right? Turns out, you'd be totally wrong. This group, they actually started avoiding the hardest puzzles. They spent way less time trying to solve anything, and get this, when they were asked about it later, they said the whole thing wasn't even that fun. I mean, it's completely backwards from what you'd expect.
Meanwhile, the kids who were praised for their effort, they had the exact opposite reaction. They jumped right into the harder puzzles. Their motivation went way up, and they kept trying for much, much longer. And the craziest part? They said they actually had a good time doing it. So what on earth was going on here? When you look at the data, it's just crystal clear. When it came to a real challenge, the hard work group just blew the smart group out of the water in terms of persistence. This one simple little change in praise completely changed how they behaved. And the reason why all comes down to a concept called the locus of control. So, the key to solving this whole puzzle mystery, it isn't really about intelligence. It's not even about effort, really. It's all about where you believe control comes from. And this psychological framework is known as the locus of control. To put it really simply, your locus of control is just your core belief about how much power you have over your own life. Do you make things happen, or do things just happen to you? This one belief is a massive driver of motivation. So those smart kids, they were pushed toward what we call an external locus of control. Think about it. They were praised for a trait, being gifted, that they have no control over, right? You can't control if you're born smart. So when they were faced with a puzzle that might prove they weren't so smart, they just avoided it. For them, success and failure felt like something that just happens to them from the outside. But the hard work kids, they were guided toward an internal locus of control. They were led to believe that success came from something they had total control over, how much effort they put in. This belief, this feeling that I make things happen, is what gave them the confidence and the drive to go after the harder problems. It's a total game changer of a perspective. Okay, so this isn't just about kids and puzzles. Let's see how this exact same idea plays out in a high-stakes, real-world situation where your motivation is literally the only thing between succeeding and failing. I want you to think about one of the toughest jobs out there. Old school, door-to-door sales. The turnover rate is just astronomical because your entire day is just facing rejection after rejection. Staying motivated feels almost impossible, unless you have the right mindset. Well, one sales manager had this really simple test. After a new hire had a terrible day, like 0 sales, he'd ask them, "So why do you think that happened?" The ones who blamed outside factors, the weather was bad, this neighborhood sucks, they had an external locus, and almost every single time, they'd quit. But the ones who looked inward and asked, what could I do differently? They had an internal locus, and they were the ones who stuck around and ultimately succeeded. And that right there, that is the curse of an external locus of control. If you truly believe that your actions don't make a difference, then why would you even try? Your motivation just completely vanishes. But here is the really, really good news. Your locus of control is not set in stone. It's not a fixed personality trait. You can actively, consciously shift it from external to internal. So let's talk about how to actually take control. The best way to build this up is to create a kind of feedback loop for your brain. It's a simple 3-step cycle. First, you pick a problem in your life. Second,
you take specific, concrete actions to solve it. And third, and this is the part everybody misses, but it's absolutely crucial, you have to consciously connect your actions to the successful outcome.
Okay, so let's walk through a super common example. Let's say you have trouble falling asleep at night. It's so easy to blame stuff you can't control, right? But let's apply our new process to this. So you do a little research and you take specific actions. These aren't just vague hopes, they are concrete changes. You make sure to get sunlight in the morning. You stop working from your bed. You put a blue light filter on your phone at night. See? All things that are 100% within your control. And what do you know? It works. You start falling asleep about 15 minutes faster. This is the magic moment. You have to consciously connect those dots for your brain. You have to literally say to yourself, this wasn't luck. I am sleeping better because of the changes I made. Every single time you do that, you're strengthening that internal locus of control.
So, what does this all boil down to for you? How can you actually put this incredibly powerful idea to work in your own life, starting right now?
Look, motivation isn't some kind of mystical force that just shows up. It is a direct result of believing you are in control. That feeling that you are the one steering the ship, that your actions directly create your outcomes, that is the engine of real, powerful, lasting motivation.
It's a simple process, but it can fundamentally change your entire outlook. So I'll just leave you with this one question. What is one small problem in your life right now that you can start taking action on today?